It's your boy UAG here, back with another film review, and I'm really hyped for this one. This is Blue Beetle, so let's get into it. Blue Beetle, it has an uphill, battle. DC hasn't done well. They had flop after flop after flop, and when you have that much momentum against you, the cards are not in your favor. They're just not. And even though they had some great reviews in terms of the critics, in terms of the audience, it's still been forecasted to be a flop from the get-go. I went to this movie to see this movie with an clean slate, open heart, open mind, not thinking about all the failures that DC had in the past. And I'm happy that I did, because this was, I think, one of the best DC films in the past 5 years, probably since The Joker. It just really hit on all notes. This is a very family-oriented film. It's funny when it needs to be. It's heartfelt when it needs to be. And it's superhero when it needs to be. It has some of the best CGI that I've seen in the last 5 years as well. You got to remember, during the pandemic, the CGI industry has been stressed. You had issues with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, just to name a few films that had those issues. And you could really tell that the quality of CGI has dipped down in recent films. Not in this one. This is some of the best CGI I've seen in a while, and it's surprisingly that good, with given the budget that it had and all the problems that comes with being this movie. And now this movie was supposed to be dropped on HBO Max, which is Max at the time, and they said that this movie was so good that they could not let that live on there. They needed to get this out to the masses, and I'm glad they made that decision. It is a movie that is really cinematic, needs to be on the big screen, and I'm glad they made that decision. And I really hope that the people go out and see this film and support it, because if we don't get people to support these kind of films, these films are going to die out. I know that this is not going to tie into the DC universe, but not everything needs to. Standalone films work. Joker, it worked. The Batman, it worked. We need to stop limiting the movies to being everything needs to be tied in. You limit the stories that you can tell. You limit the directors. You limit these stories. So why do that? This is a perfect example that standalone films can work and have worked. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to these standalone films and allowing these directors and these stories to be told. I love the Blue Beetle. This was a heartfelt movie, and it was heartfelt when it needed to be. It was family when it needed to be. It was funny as hell when it needed to be. And it was superhero when it needed to be. The story is about a kid who family is on the down and out. Everything seems to be going against him. And went to college, thought that, college was going to get him the job that he wanted. And so many people, Hispanics, blacks, we've all had that. Even, it's human nature. All people have had that. You graduate, you think you're going to do, astronomical things just because you got a degree. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you have to pay your dues. Sometimes you just got to meet the right person. And this is what happens to Zolo. He tries to, he comes home. Family is on hard times. He thinks that he's going to save him with his degree. They pan out. I don't know, it was a couple of days, couple of weeks, but he's doing, housekeeping stuff. And that's where we meet the lady, the Korg family, who is looking for this Blue Beetle, if you will, and they found it. So anyway, that's where everything really pops off. The movie, it's 2 hours and 7 minutes, but it doesn't feel that way. You don't feel the length of the movie. At the end of it, you're like, whoa. Now, there are some things that I do have a problem with, and that is that these people, they've never dealt with this kind of technology that they use in the film, but they somehow know how to use it. I guess you have to suspend your disbelief in some cases, but that one was a little much. I love the storyline. I love the idea. I love Susan Sarandon. She did excellent. I love Melissa, the sister in this movie. Milagro, she did really well. Rudy, played by my man George Lopez, is probably the best thing in this movie. Best thing in the movie. He stole the show. He is hilarious. He is heartfelt. He is I want to say, he really brings a great part to this movie. It does well with him, and I love seeing this Hispanic cast. They did an awesome job. This really should be the Black Panther for the Hispanic culture, and I don't know if it's going to do that because marketing has sucked on this. There is so much negativity when you look at the brand of DC. I almost think that if they just came out with this film and said nothing about DC, Jesus said this is a random superhero, lean into the Hispanic culture, I'm sure there would have been a lot more Hispanics in the theaters, in the seats to see this. They are one of the biggest consumer bases in the country. Why not lean into them? Unfortunately, they didn't do that. But with the power of word, I think that we can get this film to where it needs to be. I'm recommending this film. I hope you go see it. Tell a friend to tell a friend because this movie deserves it. For me, out of 10, I'm going to give it 7.5. That is a good grade. That is a really good grade. Not everything could be a 10 out of 10. I think this movie is a great addition to superhero. Yes, it's been done over and over again, but I like this new aspect that they put in there, which is really about family. It wasn't, the end of the world. It was very reminiscent of Ant-Man in that sense. I love it. I love this film, and I think you will too, especially if it's all about the culture. If you are Hispanic, you would love it. If you're a minority, you would love it. If you're a teenager, you'll love it. If you can, it's very relatable. Guys, take a chance out. Take your kids. It's very family friendly. You're going to love it. And I hope to see you next time when we review our next. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you going to watch this movie? What do you think about it if you saw it? Or, you have no intentions to see this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, guys, till next month. Peace.